Hey guys, this is the answers to the worksheet on graphing inequalities. You're going to need your notes from yesterday, and these are pretty easy in that we don't have to put them in y-intercept form because they're already in y-intercept form. So I got word that y'all needed some extra practice on this, so here is the video. Please check your work as you do it. So first of all, we have this equation here. And we know y is greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 4. So we need to graph this. So we need to graph the line first. So I know the y-intercept is 4. And I know my slope is going to be going down because it's going to be negative 3 over 1. And we'll get to the shading in a minute. I do know, based on this, we're going to have a solid line. And here we go. So if I go down 3, and over 1, I'm starting to get my points. Down 3 and over 1. So I have 3 points that I can use to draw my line. If you don't have a ruler, just draw it the best that you can. The most important part is that you get the line drawn correctly and that you either shade it, it's a solid line, or it would be a dotted line. So we have our line. I'm going to draw it here. And if you look on your notes, we're going to see we're looking for greater than or equal to. Here's greater than or equal to. So it's going to be a solid line and it's going to shade above the line. So I know my shade is going to go out here. And now you're ready to check it. So let's check it on the calculator. Let's see, let's hit y equals. And let's clear that out and clear that out. And then, just like our instructions yesterday on the calculator, we're going to go back with our arrow key until we get here. And since we have greater than or equal to, we want the shaded area to be on the top. So I'm going to hit enter until I get that. And there it is. And now I'm going to put in my equation. And I know it's negative 3x plus 4. And now I'm going to hit graph. And that is exactly like it looks. Okay? Good. Let's do the next one. So the hardest part of this is, knowing how to graph your line, which we have done quite a few times. So let's look at this one. So we know the y-intercept is negative 5. So I'm going to put my point here. And I know my slope is positive, and we're going to rise 3, run 5. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So there's 2 points. I'm just going to use that. I'm going to draw my line. And I know, per my notes, this is less than or equal to, and we have less than or equal to. So we're going to have a solid line, and we're going to shade below the line. Okay? So let's see if that's correct. So y equals, and since I have less than or equal to, I need to change this. So I'm going to go over. And I'm going to hit enter until it appears on the bottom because we're going to shade the bottom. I'm going to go back over and I'm going to put 3 divided by 5x minus 5. And then I'm going to hit graph. And that's perfect. That's exactly what we did. Okay? So let's do another one. Number 3, Same thing. Actually, it's the same y-intercept as well, -5. And we don't have any number here, but you know that this would be, the slope is -1/1x, because that is invisible, okay? So we know it's negative, so it's going to be going down. So we're going to go, I'm going to go this, instead of going down 1/1, I'm going to go up this way because we don't have any lines down here. So I'm going to go up 1/1, up 1/, and so forth. Okay. And we have this line that is not, it's greater than, it's just greater than. So we're not going to make a solid line. I'm going to make dashes. So that's the part you need to understand. It's solid if it's equal to or equal to. This one is not. And then when we shade it, per our instructions on the notes, if it's greater than, it's going to be dotted and shade above the line. So that's what we did. And our line should appear here. So let's put that in the calculator. Y equals -x minus 5. And graph. Oh, let me make sure I have this the right way. Our sign on the calculator needs to be up here. So I need to change that. I have it in the wrong spot. There it is. There we go. Now we have it right. If you don't change this stuff and check this stuff, using the calculator won't help you. Let's look at the next one. So this is greater than again. So if we graph it on the calculator, we have it in the right spot. And it looks like it's just -4. So the solutions are any of these, whoops, remember, it's not solid. If you're doing this at home, you're just going to need to draw your graphs by hand or use graph paper. And this is the area that should be shaded. So let's see. Y equals, and we have this in this right spot, and we're going to hit -4. So clear that out. Oops, it cleared this over here. So let's put that back in. There it is. And -4. Graph. And that's exactly what we did. So that's the benefit of doing this by hand, is you don't have to remember to change all that stuff on your calculator. But you know, you're going to have to remember how to shade it as well. This is not on the formula chart. This is something you will have to just memorize. And the reason, like, y is greater than -4, and that makes sense, then this is all shaded, because all these points that are bigger than -4 are a solution to this system. Not system, but this equation. Same thing here. All these points, if you plug any of these points in for x and y, you will see the equation is true. And we're going to get more into that on Monday when I return. Okay, so let's do the next one. So we have 2x is our slope, and our y-intercept's -5 again. Okay, and then I'm going to rise 2 over 1, rise 2 over 1, rise 2 over 1. And so forth. And it is greater than. So I'm just going to draw this line, dotted line. And we know that the solution set is on top of the line, so any of these numbers should satisfy it. Let's see if that's correct. So we have y equals, and we have greater than, it's already in here. And let's see, 2x minus 5. Enter. Graph. Whoops, something happened. Oh no, okay, it's right. There we go. Perfect. Let's look at the next one. So for this one, our y-intercept is 2, and our slope is up 7 over 4. Well, I can't go up 7 here. I don't have enough things, so I'm just going to go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have my point, and my graph is still positive. This is greater than or equal to, so we will have a solid line. And we will shade it on the top. Negative. Greater than is always on the top of the line. Negative is on the bottom or underneath the line. Top, greater than, top, greater than, top. If you were to tilt the line, you can see the shadings on the top. Okay? So let's see if this is correct. So y equals, we can leave this the same. And we have 7 divided by 4, x plus 2. Graph. There it is. Okay, let's do a few more and we're done. Okay, the next one is x is less than negative 5. So here's negative 5. Boy, they love negative 5 on here. So it's just less than, so the line is going to be dashed or dotted. And it's going to be all the numbers below. The reason it's below is because we can't use negative 3, because negative 3 is not smaller than negative 5. Negative 6 is smaller than negative 5. That is why we're doing it this way. So let's hit y equals. And we need to come over here and change this because it's less than. And we're going to put negative 5. Enter. Graph. There we go. The next one is also, well, it's less than or equal to. And our y-intercept's negative 4. And then we have a positive slope, so we're going to rise 4 over 3. There's our 2 points. And our slope's going up, so that's perfect. And it is a less than or equal to, so we're going to shade on the bottom. Let's check it, and we have our sign the right way here. We have our symbol the right way. And let's put in 4 divided by 3x minus 4. We're going to hit graph. And there's our graph. Perfect. Let's look at the next one. Okay, now this one we will have to convert into y equals. And that's okay. We definitely can do that. So I'm going to rewrite that here. Well, actually, I'm going to rewrite it after I move the x. Let's move the x. And so we have negative 2y is less than 10 minus 3x. So we are going to be dividing by a negative, so we're going to need to flip this sign in a minute. So we need to divide everything by negative 2 to get rid of the negative 2. And that's going to give us y. This is going to be negative 5. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And then, since we divided by all negatives on both sides, we need to flip that sign. That is a rule for inequalities that is on your notes right here. Okay. So let's see, let's put this in the calculator, and we're going to need to switch this to this. Oops. Because it's greater than, so we want it shaded on top. And, oh, I forgot to graph it, sorry. So we're at -5 again. We have a positive slope of rise 3 over 2. Rise 3 over 2. And since we have greater than, it's going to be shaded on the top. And let's see if that's correct. So we're going to put in -5 plus 3 divided by 2 x. Hit graph. And there's our graph. That's perfect. I want to go back to 7 real quick because I made an error because I was looking at this as I was doing the other problem. And because they keep using the y-intercept is -5, I did not realize this is x. This isn't y equals, this is x. So they're telling us x is less than -5. So there we go. And it's going to be a dotted line. And any of the numbers this way would be your solution. Because we couldn't put any of these numbers because this would make the solution, this would make the equation false. Let's look at number 10. So once again, we need to put it in y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to move the x. So that's going to give me, that'll go away. So I'm going to have -3y is less than or equal to -15 minus 5x. Once again, they're having you divide by negatives. And that gives us y plus 5. And that's going to be a +5 over 3x. And since it's both negatives, all negatives down here, we need to flip the sign. Now we can put it in the calculator after we graph it. And we can see that our y-intercept is 5. And our slope is +5 and 3, but I can't go up and over because I don't have any space. So I'm just going to go down and over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now on the test, they're not going to make you graph these. Obviously, it's going to be more like what you did yesterday. You're going to get an equation and you're going to need to pick which one works. So now we can put this in the calculator. And we have greater than, so our sign is correct. Greater than or equal to, and our line is going to be solid. Oh, I made an error over here. Good grief. So now we're going to put in 5 plus 5 divided by 3 x. And we're going to hit graph. And there we go. Oh, and I forgot to shade it. Okay. Now over here, once again, it is awfully early and it's Friday and I'm so tired. But we still don't want to make mistakes. This should not have been a solid line. Okay, because it's just everything else looks good. Okay, and now we have 2 left. And this one's pretty easy in that they're telling us y is greater than or equal to 4. So it would be a solid line. And it would be all these numbers because they have to be bigger than 4. So I won't even put that in the calculator. And this last one, we just need to move the x, minus x. And that's going to give us a negative y is greater than 2 minus x. Remember, there's an invisible 1 here, so I need to divide everything by negative 1. And that gives me y, negative 2 plus x. I need to flip the sign. And there's my equation. So we know we're at negative 2, and the slope is up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And it is going to be a dotted line. Dots or dashes or whatever. And it's less than, so the shade will be under the line. Let's put it in the calculator, and this will be the last one. Y equals, and clear. We got to go over here and change this. Enter, enter. We want it to be down because it's less than. And we have negative 2 plus x. And graph. And there it is. We did it, guys. We're going to practice more on this, and we're going to review the whole unit on, we'll finish up the unit on Monday. We will review Tuesday and Wednesday, and we will test on Thursday. Then you have a half day Friday. That'll do it, guys. Thank you for watching.